You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents. I'm pressing all these buttons, just distracting myself. Thank you for tuning in to Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Friday, October 7th. Good morning, Powers.
Good morning, Beef.
And good morning, everybody out there listening. We got a great show lined up for you today. Got a lot of things to cover. Got Herb Stratford coming in later on. We're going to geek out on some movie news and what's coming to theaters. If you would have bet on last night's game that there's going to be no touchdowns, like if you bet $100, you would have won $10,100. Little factoid I got from the Todd first thing in the morning. No touchdowns in a Thursday night football game. I'm sure Amazon was loving that. But it was like essentially like football, soccer style last night with the game. Pigskin pick'ems. Make sure you pick them. I gave up. I'm week 4. I'm like, nah. I saw that like a coworker, Valdez, edge like beating me a little bit. And I'm like, F this game. It's rigged. I'm over it. In fact, actually, this entire season, it wasn't until last week that people actually beat the betting apps because there were so many weird upsets, so many, like people couldn't predict the teams and the games going into the first part of the season. Now things are starting to fall in line, and the matchups are starting to become a little more clear, a little easier. But it wasn't until last week that, people won money more than the betting apps did. And usually the house always wins anyways. Right. But the betting apps have been cleaning up this NFL season, just racking up the dough because nothing makes sense in the NFL right now. Nothing. So there's a lot of things to get to. First and foremost, some housekeeping. At 7 a.m., we're giving away a pair of tickets for U of A football. This is a big one. Oregon Ducks coming to town. I don't even recall the last time Oregon Ducks were here, but this is always a big game. And, it's going to be a packed house. I have one last pair of tickets I'm going to give away for that game Saturday night, and I'm going to give that away at 7 a.m. And I got a pair of Muse tickets, going to give that away at 8 a.m. So that's where we're going to spread the love and the gospel. Speaking of spreading the love, though, I don't know if I like Razor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This son of a bitch. Let me explain something. Here's a little behind the scenes talk. So with Razor's what we call an MD, music director, right? Yeah. He's not just on air, he's also management, and he puts together the playlist that you hear each and every morning. And, he does a good job of that. But with that, I see Razor, he posted a video last night from the Hailstorm concert.
Oh,
right. And I hate that. I think Razor, the sole reason why he's in radio, the sole reason is just for concerts. Period.
Yeah, yes.
He goes to more concerts than any person I ever met in my entire life. And I love live music as well. And I'm not mad at him for that. I'm mad at him because I ran into him at the Jack White concert. Yeah. And I'm in row 32, right? So I'm towards the back, which is fine. It's still a good seat in the Linda Ronstadt Music Hall. And I bump into Ray in the hallway and I'm like, hey man, where you sitting? You sitting close to me? He's like, nah, man, I got my tickets from the label. That's what this son of a bitch does. So him being a music director in management, he gets the label hookup. How many times do you think Razor reached out to me and said, hey, Beef, would you like some tickets from the label? How many times?
Ooh, 2.
2.
Not 1?
You overshot that by 200%.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 0 times.
0 effing times, man.
Well.
0 times. And look, man, I'm in radio for the same reason. I like free music. I like going to concerts for free. It's not like the company's paying me, so let me enjoy myself. And at least that's a wash. But seriously, every single time this guy gets tickets from the label. Hey, Beef, I was hanging out with your favorite band last night. We rocked it. I got a meet and greet from the label. Oh, that's cool. I'm actually at that concert because, I really like that band. I spent $300 and I'm in nosebleeds. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't spend $300 because I got tickets from the label. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. It's a spot on impersonation. Now, I'm not trying to bury Ray right off the bat, but you know what? I am kind of like throwing jabs at him because it's time to recognize there isn't that many people on this station, bro. It's me, it's you, it's Rico, it's Robin Nash. It's Weirdo sometimes, it's Cat, it's Mari, but you don't even have to consider them. They're part time.
Yeah.
Right?
They're as part as it gets.
Right. There's Drum. Does traffic sometimes. Like these are people that are working for the station and not getting paid as much and would love a concert ticket and a night out to enjoy some of their favorite bands, but they don't have access to get tickets from the label.
Can you say 4 on the floor for me real quick?
I'm gonna jack you up with some high octane 4 on the floor to make you snore. I got taken from the label.
Stop it.
I know.
Stop.
I'm sorry. I can't because if I see one more effing Facebook Live video posted from premium seats at a concert that I wanted to go to that I promoted on the air, I'm gonna rage out, man. I'm going to rage out. If this is not me raging out. This is just like, come on, man. And I should be celebrating today. Yesterday, the White House announced that they are decriminalizing a bunch of marijuana laws and expunging the records for marijuana possession.
Do you know where I saw the news?
Hot Rock.
Hot Rock Super Joint. That's right.
Yeah, if it's going to be about weed, Hot Rock is going to report on it. But this is big news. So people convicted of simple possession of marijuana on a federal level have been pardoned by President Biden, and the action applies to everybody who has the conviction on that charge at the federal level, not state. So that's why Biden wants governors to take the same action. This, whenever it comes to marijuana, and this could have been done years ago. Let's be honest. Could have been done 15 years ago and should have been done 15 years ago, if not more. And I am a victim of the system when it comes to marijuana possession. To remind you, I was caught with an ounce of marijuana when I was 17 years old. They waited till I was 18 to charge me as an adult. There was 3 bags in my car because I took credit for it. I personally had a half ounce. I had 2 buddies with me in my car that had a quarter. Since I was driving, I said, no, officers, that's mine. I was trying to do the stand-up thing. They charged me with possession with intent to sell, a class 6 undesignated felony. And for the first 10 years of my adult life, I was registered as a felon, and it still hasn't been expunged from my record completely. And it really affected and slowed down my progress as an adult man in society. Yeah. I had to take not only the long road, the hard road, and I had to sacrifice a lot along the way because of their effed up policies. And I was a victim of that. So when I see finally some progress when it comes to this, all I can do is applaud it. And thank God. Too little, too late for me, but hopefully someone else that's in my position doesn't become victimized and basically relegated to a life of harder times because they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole, and it had to do with marijuana.
Yeah.
Give me an effing break, right? So that's good news. And we're going to keep that positivity going through the entire podcast, broadcast, whatever.
Yeah, that's the show.
Yeah, the show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that said, don't forget, get ready to win those tickets at 7 a.m. for U of A football. Muse at 8. Morning Morons coming up next. It's Beef Vegan Presents. Oh, no. Oh, welcome. Oh, nice camera angle there.
What's that? You
What the
you
hell
don't
is-
need these. This is too many cameras. You gotta get this
I
one
didn't
out.
know. I'm sorry. No, I don't need you. I need Herb. Herb, get in there.
I was in there. I'm in here. You're not in. Am I in the wrong one?
Yeah, you're in the wrong one.
Oh, no
All
wonder.
right. Welcome to the podcast broadcast, everybody. I'm in love with Mary Jane, too. What up, Tan? So we have a lot of things that we're going to cover here this morning. Herb Stratford is old, so he's figuring out the technology, and he'll get in on the
He's
stream
got to
here
get the
soon.
bird in his computer to work like the Flintstones.
I went to the first one you sent me, and then I'm like sitting in there by myself.
I get it,
So,
man. Emails are confusing. I get it. It's okay. All right, there's Herb,
All right,
everybody.
hey.
Yeah, welcome to the stream. All right, we're going to be talking about movie reviews, and we got some Hollywood news to get to, and we'll recap. But we talked about, like last week, we showed Herb Stratford's interview with Billy Eichner because he had a big movie coming out directed by and co-written by Judd Apatow, which on paper you're like, okay, yeah, this is slam dunk, good layup, could possibly even make $100 million on its whole theatrical run, and we were off by $99 million.
Yeah.
So Herb has 1,500 views on that interview, and I made the quip that that's probably more people watched his interview with Billy Eichner than bought tickets to see Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big disappointment, and of course everybody is gnashing their teeth now and trying to figure out what went wrong, right? And I think the big takeaway, honestly, is maybe a gay rom-com should not be pitched to the general population.
And that sucks, dude. I mean, that's the thing. Even though I didn't go to the movie theater and see it, I'm still looking forward to watching the film. I know it's going to be funny. The reviews are that good, and that's funny. It's Apatow, Billy Eichner is funny as well. Some people get put off by him a little bit in his energy.
That's what I was gonna say. Billy Eichner's, I think he's so funny, but at the same time, like, it could be a bit much.
But it's not Billy on the street for 90 minutes. Let me just be clear. You know what I mean? Like, it is a little bit more calmer Billy. He has moments, but it's a calmer Billy. So that isn't. But people don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're like, no, that guy turns me off, then you wouldn't know that he's not like that 100% of the time.
Well, I mean, I don't know why they're so surprised if they haven't been paying attention to this country in the last like 10 years. As advanced and open-minded as some of us are, a lot of us aren't, and that's the sad truth about that. And I think it kind of reflected in that. Who knows?
Well,
Hold on. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Powers, but we're live on the podcast broadcast. You can join us on our Rock 102.1 Facebook page or youtube.com/beefvegan, hanging out here with Herb Stratford. Of course, we're talking as to why Bros bombed so miserably on the podcast broadcast. But when we return, there's a new Stephen King movie. Now, Stephen King didn't direct it, but of course wrote the book. Which movie is it? Where is it coming out? And how good is it? We'll find out after AWOL Nation sale. But first, the debate continues. Podcast broadcast live. Join us visually. We all took showers today for your viewing pleasure. All of us except for probably Herb. I'm just kidding. I'm bagging on you. You know his Powers.
I know.
I'm just kidding. I'm bagging on you. It was me. Who done it? We'll find out on the podcast broadcast. It doesn't really matter. Clear. All right. So I know. Just pulling things out of my ass.
Having fun.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't shower. I was just kidding. I like you. I didn't mean to offend you. You didn't shower. I love you too. I didn't mean to offend you. It was me. I'm a dick. Okay. But yeah, so that's pretty much what it was. The reviews were good. The press was good. The talent was there as far as the name recognition of Apatow and his winning streak when it comes to putting together enjoyable films, enjoyable comedic films. And all that didn't matter. It was too gay for the general public.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if that's just people not understanding what they like, not taking the time, just going, oh, two dudes, not interested. You know what I mean? It's like just sort of just immediate cancel.
Right. That's
Maybe.
ridiculous.
Here's what I was gonna say. The thing about Billy is, like, is he likable? And that's not even a dig. He's so intense, and that type of person is intense. Like, and I'll pull this out of absolutely nowhere. What if you went to a Sam Kinison movie?
Right.
It is like you kind of either don't like him or that extreme thing, you love it.
There is a system that rates this, and trust me, movie studios know and television studios know, and I forgot what the name of it is, but there is likability research on everybody that's in.
Yeah, it's your Q number.
Yeah, your Q number, right?
Yeah.
So they knew his Q number going into this, and I'm sure that if his Q number was abysmal, they wouldn't have greenlit the project. His Q number must have been pretty decent, and of course, Billy on the Street was successful. His YouTube numbers are there. So, I mean, he definitely has an audience that's willing to watch him.
But, like going up to people on the street and being sort of outrageous is different than seeing an honest, like, three-dimensional portrait of a gay couple.
True.
Yeah.
Right? And I think people are allies. Sure, we're all allies, but are you allies with your $20-$30? Sometimes that's what it is too.
True. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm a free ally. I'll support you as long as it didn't cost me any money.
But I will say, even if Billy is frustrated by the result and the studios are frustrated by the report, it was important that the film got made, it got released, it got talked about.
It'll be one of those movies, I guarantee that'll be appreciated years from now. So in hindsight, like 10 years from now, I'll be like, Bros is a stand-up film.
Yep.
And I haven't even seen it, but I would consider that because I'll watch it 10 years from now when I feel comfortable in my own sexuality. So there was a takeaway that I saw my friend Yaz post because she went to go see it. She was one of the few. And there was a line that she really enjoyed. Let me pull that up. And I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense for pretty much everybody. As far as dating is concerned.
Yeah.
And you'll recognize the line. Let's see. Give me just 2 seconds to go through her spam. She tweets a lot. God, yeah. Oh, can we date for 3 months and then reassess? I swear to God, I used this line back in the day when in my 20s. But she said, I never heard a more perfect question. And yes, can we date for 3 months and reassess? Yeah, that's a line. And I swear to you, I came up with that line. And Billy Eichner, that's why I didn't go see Billy Eichner's movie.
You're mad. He stole your line.
Stealing my line. Not the first time.
It's in the ether sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got 10 seconds to talk about the Stephen King film and continue to rock out. It's going to be good times. So 5, let's do it. Rock 102.1 KFMA, it's Beefing and Presents, hanging out here with film critic Herb Stratford. Now, obviously, there's only one big takeaway as far as a big movie that's coming to the theaters, and that's Amsterdam, and it's 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. So if we stay home, what's worth watching? Herb, what do you recommend as far as your top pick?
So, I think on Netflix, there's a title called Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Okay. And this is based on a Stephen King novella. So it's not like The Stand. It's like 900
this is
pages.
the Stephen King film. Cause I've been seeing this on my homepage and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. But so Stephen King wrote the plot line of this?
So it's a Stephen King short story, and it's directed by John Lee Hancock, who is a great director. He did one of the last big things John Lee Hancock did was Saving Mr. Banks. About the Mary Poppins and the Disney, and Tom Hanks played Walt Disney. Yeah. Anyway, he's a great director. So this is a film that he directed based on a Stephen King novella, and basically the story is there's this young boy played by Jaden Martell. And he gets a job reading to an older gentleman, a billionaire, played by Donald Sutherland, whose eyes are failing, right?
That's a good job.
He's like a family friend, right? So he goes over and he reads, and and so they become friends. And there's a little bit of a time jump from the little kid until later. And basically, he's trying to bring Donald Sutherland's character into like the 20th century, right? So he gets him an iPhone.
Nice.
Right?
Okay.
And then, of course, you see, iPhones are even as addicting for old people, right? Because he's sort of like, he's sort of into the phone and everything. Yeah. Well, and this is not a spoiler alert because it's all in the description. He dies, right? And the kid starts getting phone calls from Mr. Harrigan's cell phone.
Oh, wow.
Which he knows he slipped into the casket.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, a little creepy, right?
Yeah.
So what's great about it is it's not like some sort of a jump scare movie. It's more subtle, and like the phone is just the phone is the tool for the scariness. The phone isn't like the killer's on the in the house with you, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually I think it's well played. I think the cast does a great job. I thought it was an interesting sort of twist on everything. I enjoyed it. It's a little bit low on Rotten Tomatoes right now, but I liked it. And there's interviews on my YouTube channel with both Jaden Martell and director John Lee Hancock.
Oh, we're gonna have to check out that interview on the podcast broadcast stream. Look at it, Herb's on fire with all these interviews. So this is a movie, not a series.
Yeah, it's just a movie, and it's on Netflix.
What's the runtime? Do you know?
It's like an hour and a half.
That's good.
It's reasonable.
You know what? That's all because of Pete Davidson and the short ass movies bit that he did on Saturday Night Live. We need more. He was complaining in song form that we needed more 90-minute options as opposed to investing our life in any kind of project. There's a lot of things you're just like, I want to watch this, but I don't have 12 hours to spare. Right.
Well, and you know what? And to that thing, I should mention it's not on our list, but there's a movie Powers is going to dig called Werewolf by Night.
Oh, it's coming out Disney Plus, right?
Yeah,
of course.
And it's 52 minutes, so it's short, right? It's not a short, but it's not a long, right? It's somewhere in between. It's like skirts or whatever the long shorts.
Yeah.
So
that's
anyway,
too short for me.
Anyway, it's this movie, and it stars Gael Garcia Bernal, and he plays this hunter. And it's like all these gathering of these hunters. They're monster hunters, right? And they're coming together in this mansion to figure out who's going to get the bloodstone. The whole thing is in black and white. It's done like a 50s Universal monster film.
Yeah,
it's exquisite.
And that's Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's Werewolf by Night.
It's the first Marvel / Disney Plus Halloween film that they've ever done, and they do it very well.
Okay.
So yeah, that's definitely worth checking out.
Nice.
Powers, you're gonna dig it.
All right. Yeah. I mean, if it's on Disney Plus, he'll dig it all because honestly, there's not a thing on Disney Plus that he doesn't dig. Speaking of childish things that he dig, the big studios are reaching out for nostalgia, and they're getting all us 40-year-olds super stoked about the things that we loved when we were 10. Super Mario Brothers, the movie trailer, just dropped, and Powers is so excited his entire outfit's dedicated to it. We're going to break down the trailer and talk about that on the podcast broadcast, and only there. So you can join us, youtube.com/bevegan, or any of our Facebook pages. We'll be back with more of Herb Stratford right after this. Clear. All right. So, let's talk about this Super Mario Bros. I got that trailer. Did you watch the trailer?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I didn't watch it like immediately, but I watched it like in the afternoon yesterday. So it was still probably like only 10 million views or something. So,
yeah. Well, shit. When he sent it to me, it was like 6,000 views.
Right.
Yeah.
I caught it at like 28 minutes.
Do you
And it
have
just
a-
debuted.
Do you have a Google alert for it?
I knew the date. I was like, it's coming out October 6th. Like, this is one of the more anticipated trailers that there's been in a while, because much like the Sonic reveal, they haven't
Yes.
shown you what he looks like,
Mhm.
and
True.
we get to hear what he sounds like, and what's it going to look like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I was super impressed just because here we are. Just think about it with me right now. Where did
Oh,
this all
shit.
start?
Here we
right?
go.
Here we go.
We're in Super Mario Brothers. Like this.
Hold on. I'll give you full screen.
There you go.
Go ahead,
There you
nerd.
go. That was the root.
Yes.
Right? And then you just get to see, like, just remember the fireballs, right? Then there's Bowser. And now, how does this trailer start? Epic. Just the amount of like what that actually is epic. Bowser is terrifying. He's conquering kingdoms. That's what the story of Mario is. Like, he's a tyrannical beast that's going to conquer all these lands, right? It's pretty epic. His fire breathing is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's not like it's hilarious, right?
Yeah, they've appropriately scaled it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll say this, I mean, the trailer does get your optimism up. You're like, okay, this looks pretty entertaining. The graphics, it's the same studio that put together Minions. But
Illumination. Yep.
yeah. So it was. I was a little concerned because we've had Super Mario cartoons, we had movies before. They always kind of like swing and miss big time, right?
Especially the live action.
Yeah. And then with Chris Pratt being cast, obviously that was the blowback immediately. And there is no accent, but there is a character voice apparently. Let's watch a little bit of this trailer, and
He's got a little accent in there.
Honestly, people are saying there's no accent. You said in text that there's a little bit of accent, and I didn't really pick up on that.
No,
And
okay.
what I've been reading
Me
is
neither.
no accent. So, again, we could be wrong. We don't know yet. It's not out yet. Let's see. I'm gonna do which one's the official one. Right here.
Because
Okay.
you wonder, is the accent like a terrible stereotype?
Well,
to be
yeah.
like, oh, it's a Mia,
Mamma mia.
right?
Yeah.
And he gets away with it in the games, but in a full movie, was it cliche? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna die. Well,
Yeah.
see, a lot of people. I don't know. A lot of people, fucking bots on Twitter, was complaining that Pratt wasn't really Italian, right? So it was one of those
Well,
situations.
because it's one of those things that you try to,
Right. But again, like, who are you gonna cast? Well, who's a prominent Italian actor who's in his 30s right now? Herb Stratford.
I
Right.
no.
No, fucking nobody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, you gonna get De Niro to do the voice.
Captain Lou Albano crushed it first. To me.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. But yeah, so here's the trailer. We gotta do a smaller screen on this, and because I don't want to get booted off the YouTube, but we'll watch a little bit of this and hear a little bit of this as well. All right, what are you thinking, Powers?
All right, so epic. Look at the scale, the scope, right? Because that's Bowser's famous battleship. Look how big it is. Amazing.
I don't recall the battleship, but I guess he didn't get that far in the game. Oh, yes, I
the
do.
sky
Okay.
thing. So he's got all these different things. So that thing's insane looking.
Yeah. It starts off funny. The clip, it shows the penguins and their retaliation.
And
so-
that is weird because it feels very American instantly. When these characters do talk, like it's like, oh, this is definitely like an American kids movie,
True.
because these characters just have regular voices, these little penguins.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
What nation would you want the penguins to be from?
Well, they don't have cute cartoony voices.
Okay.
You get it? Like in the video games or in more kids' movies. It's just like, it's the joke of like, I'm the tiny penguin and I sound like this. Like that is very common in like Madagascar.
All right,
you
well,
know?
let's listen to it to hear what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Behold, the king of the Koopas!
Real quick, look at Power's face. This fucking guy. He doesn't even go to Pornhub. He just goes to Disney Plus. And then...
We should have done a reaction video when he watched it the first time.
I know. You know what? That's a good point.
Yeah, but he was so excited yesterday. I'm sure. He was looking like King Koopa while watching it.
That was not
like, oh, I love it, bro. Yeah. All right, so let's. This is the introduction to King Koopa. Who's voiced by who? Charlie Day?
Jack Black.
Oh, Jack Black. Okay.
Yeah, Charlie Day's Luigi.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Open the gates.
See, I can't even tell that was Jack Black.
No,
yeah.
That's the point. Because you're not there to see these actors.
Right.
Characters.
So it's not Kung Fu Panda. Good.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. All right, let's keep watching. This is actually funny. It's very Minion-esque. Got one.
That is but a taste of our fury. Do you yield? I do not.
Yeah, do you yield? Yeah, so right off the bat, so we're noticing the graphics here. Graphics look great. You know, you're seeing this 2D video game property come to life in a 3D fashion, and yeah, it's rich. It's very rich as far as the characters.
You can tell they spent some money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the CGI is better than She-Hulk, that's for sure. All right.
And there's no twerking.
Easy to do.
Twerking. Yeah, very easy to do. All right, let's see. He's like, look at the fire.
Take that.
Finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
Yeah, I heard Jack Black in that. And this is the introduction to Mario, but first, yeah, it's great that the plot line is that he's looking for the invincible star.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he got the invincible star, and he's invincible. Yeah, good luck stopping him. All right? That's pretty funny. And it's great, too, because everyone our age and our generation knows exactly, without explaining what's going on. They know exactly what's going on.
Everyone, every age does.
Yeah.
You got to remember, Mario is just a character that beyond generational.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So here's the introduction of Mario. Chris Pratt. Pay attention to his voice. See if you can pick up on an accent. If it sounds a little different than Chris Pratt. I think it sounds a lot like Chris Pratt, but you be the judge.
I think he looks cute.
That's very manly.
What is this place?
What is this place?
Right?
I should have cast me. I would have nailed it.
Do not touch that mushroom, you'll die! Oh, I'm sorry. That one's perfectly fine. Come on, Mario!
Oh, fucking Toad.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
Now that was not Chris Pratt.
Oh, who was that?
I think that was Toad.
No, Toad. Oh, wait, was it?
I think it could have been. I think that voice was not the voice
That's
that
a good
we initially
point, because
heard.
why would he know Mushroom Kingdom, here we come, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
good point.
Yep.
Supposedly what that Toad thing was, that's like a meme. Like that's a reference to even a joke.
Okay.
That we don't even know.
So we got a lot of the like adult humor or internet humor thrown in the mix here. All right, only got about 20 seconds here of this trailer, so we're just gonna play it through. You're gonna see Luigi in this as well, and outside of Luigi's mansion.
Luigi's mansion,
yeah, people are saying. And everybody's happy. Oh yeah, look at all those skeleton turtles. Yeah, that's great. All right, so that was cool. And yeah, I am super stoked about that, and I hope it comes with a brand new Super Mario game, or at least a revisit to the original format or whatever the case, but with updated graphics and all that. Oh,
if you play Mario Maker, like that exists. It's all there.
All right. Yeah. So were you stoked about that trailer as well, Herb?
You know, I got to tell you, I'm over Chris Pratt.
Okay.
So he's sort of like, I'm just like enough already with Chris. Even though I do I do want to see the Guardians holiday special. I'm looking forward to that, but I'm just I think he's getting dangerously overexposed like The Rock. But I will say, I think from visually, I'm like, nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? When he pops into the screen and starts bouncing around on the mushrooms, I'm like, damn, that's some good animation. I'm like, you know what? This is like, and then just, just the sort of quick cuts. I'm like, you know what? This looks like this is a visual feast. So I maybe a video game movie is finally going to make that leap and actually make you feel like you're part of that world.
Right.
So
yeah, and I'm with you on the animation. I think visually it's going to be stellar, and I think a lot of people will be digging that aspect of it. But you're not alone in the Chris Pratt backlash. Even in our streamers, Todd's against it, Anthony's against it, Nick. They don't like his voice in this, and I don't know if it'll be the takeaway for a lot of people out there. They might be too hung up on it. I think I'll be able to get over it relatively quick.
I think I will too, because again, I'm there for
know
Mario.
You will.
I'm there for Mario.
I know, but you take fanboying to another level. So you are. I mean, hell, you're wearing the hat already. You know what I mean? So what am I gonna do?
To a degree, but like, did you care that Sonic was John Ralphio, the guy that played? It doesn't matter with voices sometimes.
I did not know that fact, and I like Sonic more now.
Right.
Yes.
So I mean,
John
I get
Ralphio.
it, but at the same time, it also doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
But I will say, I think that the stunt vocal casting is very distracting, right?
Yeah.
So like you said, it's about the character, it's not about the star,
For
right?
real.
So it's like I sort of like it when I'm like, who is that? And I have to go to IMDb and go, oh, that's who the voice.
They should have casted small market radio DJs to voice these characters. They would be beloved. And I know that I could have nailed a Bowser.
I'll do Luigi. Wow! See, there you go.
You got it.
Rocco 102.1. I'm a Mario Italian. See, I could have done it. I could have been Super Mario. Welcome back to the podcast broadcast. We just broke down and had a reaction to the new Super Mario Brothers trailer, which was fun. Of course, Power is super stoked about it. Herb is on the fence. We'll see what happens as we get closer to that release date. But on Showtime this weekend, if you're a fan of music docs, there's one on a very controversial figure. She had one hit, shaved her head, and became notorious. And it's Sinead O'Connor. Did you watch this?
I did.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I actually learned a lot because, I mean, her big thing was basically, I think it was like 98 to 2002. You know what I mean? It was a very small window. Or no, I'm sorry, 88 to 92. Sorry. And I remember, of course, the downfall was when she ripped up the picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live on live TV.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much ended her career. Very interesting documentary, just sort of learning about where she came from. She was basically like an orphan. She had a lot of baggage.
That makes sense. Daddy issues galore.
And she's continued to have issues with her
mental
husband and her mental health and her child. And once you start to sort of put the pieces together, you're like, oh, this is not just sort of a one-off story of some crazy woman that ripped up a picture of the Pope, right? There's actually a lot there, and it has to do with the way that the Catholic Church has treated Ireland, and I mean, just a lot of interesting stuff. So if you're a fan of the music, it's definitely worth watching. But you made a point off air. Nothing compares to you as a Prince song.
Yes.
Right. So it's not even like yes, she had basically 2 big albums, and then that was sort of the end of it.
2 big albums, but nobody can name 2 Sinead O'Connor songs. They got Nothing Compares to You, and then that's it. They're stumped. If I did this for ticket giveaways for any concert, everyone would lose that game. It's an impossible game to play. So yes, she made a living and her legacy based off of a cover song. A lot of artists do. It's not that much to take away, but she became notorious based off her actions against the Catholic Church. So the Catholic Church went to take revenge against Sinead O'Connor?
I mean, they didn't have to. Because at that point in time, it was pre-sex scandal, and they could, her
career was over.
Yeah, I mean, now of course it has a whole different resonance, right? I mean, now we're like, oh, maybe she was right about some of this stuff. So it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to hear some of the songs again. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that song because I had those, those CDs. So it's interesting to see what happened to her, and then also at the end, if you stick around for the whole film, they show her performing, and so it's interesting now to see her, right? You know what I mean? Because you haven't seen her. And she's continued to make music. She continued to be an artist, but not anybody's, nothing has been successful.
Right.
So she stayed true to herself, which I think is something to be, that's admirable.
Yeah, for artistic credibility, but at the same time, credibility is taken away when you hang your hat up on a cover, right? So I don't know. I mean, it's good to see that she's still around and resilient. I mean, reading the stories about Sinead O'Connor and her mental health issues obviously was upsetting and concerning. And I'm glad that it seems like she overcame that. I always wondered what she looked like with like long hair. If, she put on a wig, because she's gorgeous.
And you know what? And she's pretty, yeah. And you look at it and you're like, oh, and no wonder everybody freaked out when she shaved her head, because it was like shocking. But it was actually pretty smart from a branding perspective.
Oh yeah,
everybody knew exactly who she was.
Right? Yeah. No, she was. She definitely blew up because she was the pretty bald chick.
Yep.
As opposed and separated herself from all the other like Debbie Gibsons of the time who had the over the top hair. Yeah.
You like bald chicks?
No, I don't. I mean, I've hooked up with a couple of bald chicks.
Yeah, I think it's smoking hot.
Yeah. Have you tried dudes?
No, it's different. Bald chick is not a dude.
I'm just saying.
There's this whole body below the hairline.
I feel like it's an easy transition. You know what I mean? You just add one part and then you're good to go. But either way, I mean, to each his own. You got a bald chick fetish. That's funny. So you're gonna watch this documentary like it's porno, huh?
Like that meme of that guy putting his hands together.
Yeah. Just like me when I watched Blonde, I had the shame boner like half of the movie. I felt bad about it. I totally felt bad about it. Like I understood those issues were real, but at the same time, so hot and real. It was bad.
Especially the JFK scene. It was just very confusing. Very, very, very confusing.
See, I'm glad you got that shame boner too, Herb Stratford.
Oh my
I'm not
God.
alone in that. We're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. Could it get worse? Yeah. Join us, youtube.com/beefvegan.
Count on it.
Can it get worse? Yeah.
So 10, if you're still there, Rico's still on the show. He just not on Fridays because he bounces at O'Reilly's
Pizza.
bar. Yeah. On Friday and Saturday night, and doing a double duty kicks his ass. But he did actually put together a video, because on Monday I was fortunate enough to be a judge for the knife fight finals yet again. It's like my third or fourth year doing it. It's fantastic. It's the best gig in the house, because these two chefs, they compete against each other. You get to taste the food and tell them how good it is. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And Rico, he was inspired to put together a nice little music video showcasing the great time that we had on Monday night. And in case you missed it, or you're thinking about going to future knife fights, this video, I think, is going to convince you. So I'm going to share that here right now. And this is on my Instagram page too. Shout out to Chef Gary and Chef Michael Elefante. Here's the knife fight recap. Parties that goes down each and every year is Tucson's Knife Fight, hosted by Chef Gary Hickey and Chef Michael Elefante. And I got to judge the finals again this year. It was a beautiful setup, and in case you don't believe me, check this out.
Bring it on. Tucson Knife Fight. Let's give it up for Tucson. Thank you to Tucson for making this thing go. Real MVPs. Y'all have turned this thing into, God, more than I could have ever imagined. More than I could have ever imagined. Like, when we started this, we had 20 people watching us just talk shit to each other, berate each other. I think one time I climbed under a table and looked up at a chef just to, fuck with him. Yep. Not anymore. Nope. I get a knife in my face. Nope. Now we're professional. Okay, if you say so. My man, Beef Vegan, over here on the judging panel. My man, I love him to death. There's great radio this morning. Rico was there too. I don't know what he's doing. He's out here lifting weights probably or something. All right. Sorry for the segue. Just trying to finish. All right. The poor man's lobster. What you got? Moose. Now moose. Listen to the show this morning. It's moose. It's mushrooms from BKW Farms.
Yo, bitch, I got some buzzers clawing at my fucking stomach. I'm from the shadows, left the gallows, made the summit.
Yeah, I love all the ingredients. That cuttlefish was smelling kind of funky, so I'm glad they're coming. A little nervous about that one.
Easy.
That was something. It was a waft over here. But I do love monkfish, and I love the mushrooms, so I'm pretty excited about all that.
Yeah, I have no clue what's coming our way, but that cuttlefish did smell like porn dip, so I wasn't happy about that. It is smelling less like that, which is good. And I hope that all the fishiness smell is out of the taste.
Buddy, where's our gloves?
The gallows made the summit. Hear the trumpets rolling in like it's 300. Let the battle the ravage detecting.
That SOS is what I'm all about.
Jake, I need Gary, you to pull a raffle? You like it? And your restaurant's downtown. It's Kiri? It's Kiri. Every time he said it, that's why we were laughing all morning.
Could have told me.
I can't course correct after 40 times.
Yes, you can.
It's alright, she's dealt with it.
I always fuck up names. You know what I'm saying, Rocco? You know what I'm saying.
Big thank you to the city of Tucson and everybody who's made this what it is.
Thank you to the restaurants in Delta, Charles State, Charles Del Rey, Monica. That's a lot of C-Char restaurants, damn it. Union, Zio Pepe. Oh, one of my favorite locations. It just always rains here. That's why I love it. Zio Pepe kills it every year. They do a great job. The Coronet. I think that's it. Is that 8? Anybody counting?
Your college was in line with these guys.
I know what I'm doing. I've been fat my whole life.
And this is a fucking beef. You better be able to.
There you go. That's Rico put that together. Shout out to Rico. Shout out to Chef Gary. I don't know the song in the background, but Rico does, right? He's the one who put it together. So yeah, that was fun. And shout out to Chef Jake for winning it. And that was a big deal. His shit on the shingle is what separated him from Kiri. And it was a mushroom shit on the shingle. So if you don't know what shit on the shingle is, I love it. I can make it myself because I make homemade biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
Right. So biscuits and gravy, sausage gravy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shit on the shingle is usually a beef gravy. And then they put it on like toast, right?
Okay.
It's a Midwestern kind of classic. And he did it without, of course, the beef. He just used the mushroom. It was very mushroomy, very creamy, and put it on like a baguette. And I was like, fuck, I just gained 3 pounds eating this. You won. Everything else is too light. So yeah, that was good. All right, Herb, I'm going to ask you a question because we got our fatal 4-way. We've been doing Build-A-Band all this week, and it's pretty cool concept. It's our take on fantasy football.
Okay.
So each and every day this week, we put 2 lead singers against each other.
All right.
To face off and ask our listeners to vote for their favorite. And then based off the 4 rounds of the 8 contestants, we got our final 4. And today is Friday's final 4-way, right?
Okay.
Our fatal 4-way. And so it's between Corey Taylor of Slipknot, Anthony Kiedis of Red Hot Chili Peppers, Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters fame, and of course James Hetfield from Metallica. Which one would you vote for? The Herb Stratford vote.
Well, I'm gonna irritate you by name dropping, but
oh, here he fucking goes.
Here I go. I've done some Q&As with Dave Grohl, so Dave's my man.
Oh, okay.
I you know.
Yeah, Dave Grohl, that's a good one. Just because you got to do some Q&As with him. Did he hit you up afterwards for a beer?
No, but he's the nicest dude. I mean, seriously, I wanted to get in the car with him and leave.
I'm sure.
And actually, ironically, if you go to Arts and Culture Guy on YouTube, you can see my interview with Dave Grohl at the Uptown Theater in 2014.
Ooh, okay. Might have to do that.
Check
It is odd though, because I do follow Dave Grohl, and there's a bunch of different websites just talking about Dave Grohl's day-to-day activities, and he always goes out for beers afterwards with somebody that he interviews with. It's part of his thing. He said, only if I really despise a dipshit do I not offer to go out.
But here's the thing: we were at the film festival in Napa, and then later that night, he was at the bar, and we were hanging out at the bar, right?
Okay.
And that's where Miles Teller showed up and trying to get in a fight with a different bartender. So it was quite a crazy night.
Oh yeah, Miles Teller. Yeah, I forgot about this because you told me this story before Miles Teller blew up.
Yeah.
But now Miles Teller is A-list. He just hosted the season premiere of Saturday Night Live. How much of a dickwad was Miles Teller?
Oh, he was huge.
Yeah.
He was like, everybody was just embarrassed for him. And this is 2014. This is a while ago.
Oh, he's still young. Okay.
But he was an arrogant D-bag. He was trying to pick a fight with everybody. I mean, it was like, just entitled young Hollywood crap. You know what I mean, I hope he's matured a little bit. I will say that porn stash in Maverick, I was not a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch a little bit of Saturday Night Live. I thought, you know what? He's doing all right.
He did all right, but he is also like a rich kid, right?
Yeah.
So he comes from money.
Yeah.
And then, so now, and it's crazy because this year I've really enjoyed my Miles Teller. I've been on the Miles Teller bandwagon, but then I forgot. I'm like, oh, wait a second. He could be a scumbag. I mean, I like Army Hammer called him up and was like, dude, fucking pump the brakes, dude.
Yeah, Army Hammer. Yeah.
That is insane, though. That is insane. I totally forgot about that story. Yeah, he's trying to fight bartenders and stuff.
I mean, really, you're here being honored for your work in film, and you're gonna pick a fight with a bartender.
Yeah.
I mean,
I said double scotch, you motherfucker. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Obviously a hair trigger there.
So you buried the lead. So that story is the time that you saved Dave Grohl from Miles Teller.
From Miles Teller. You're
well
right.
Done.
That's how I'm telling it. From here on out.
Yeah, that's too funny. All right. Well, let's see. We got other things that we have to get to here. I got good news for you, Herb.
All right.
Viagra shrinks tumors and boosts chemotherapy effects. So, like, if you ever get a tumor, that Viagra you're taking is probably shrinking it. So that's good. It's a miracle drug.
I'm not taking Viagra.
Oh. Well, if you get a tumor,
to start taking it.
Yeah. You can shrink your tumor and grow your wood at the same time. I mean, honestly, Viagra is a miracle drug. Insane in so many different ways. Obviously, it cured impotence amongst millions of men for generations.
But that's their new ad campaign. I like that. Grow some wood, shrink your tumor. I mean, there you go. They owe you.
I know. I am
Pfizer.
marketing. I am a marketing genius. I know you just saw that Build-A-Band. That's my concept as well.
Yeah.
His graphics, my concept. Now, so look at the headline. This is legit. Now, this is one of the many things that they say. What is it? The Synfidel? Or no, what's the key ingredient there? It's something along the lines of
Solido something. Yeah.
Yeah. So the key ingredient in Viagra and the other boner medications is also this key ingredient that not only prevents heart attacks and strokes, and it seems like every other month I get a new study and survey that comes across my desk, and it's not a news alert like my sites that I go for information.
It's Google alerts.
Yeah.
Dr. Mann says that boners are good for you.
No, boners are good for you. That's a fact. But the fact that Viagra does so many different things, is this not the miracle drug of an entire century? I mean, just for the boners alone, but everything else that comes along with it.
Boners plus.
Yeah. Yeah, you're saying somebody gets tumorous cancers, right? And they have to go through chemotherapy, which is rough, right? You're saying that you could help expedite the process of recovery by giving a dude boners nonstop, or even chicks.
Well, wait, is that how it works? Or is it just like people that constantly use it already are less likely to develop these things?
I hope so. I hope it's a preventative measure, because then I'll just be like, I'm just taking preventive caution.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for the boner.
Yeah. I'm doing it for the no tumors.
Because you know how they say, like, masturbating is actually good. It prevents prostate cancer.
Yes, you should milk the prostate. Yes.
If you get prostate cancer, you can't just furiously start masturbating to cure it.
It
doesn't work that way.
I know. But you could try.
I mean, you might, if
have
you're
a
going to
hell
go
of a
out.
time.
You've got 6 months to live. Oh, let's see if I can make it 9.
Yeah, I'll share a little tidbit from this. Researchers in the UK have found the drugs that cause this, which include Viagra. One could potentially improve how well patients with I can't pronounce that word, with a certain kind of cancer respond to therapy and shrinks their tumors. That's the takeaway. But which is good news. I mean, even if you don't have that stuff, it is better safe than sorry. So better safe with a raging hardwood than without one. That's what I'm saying. Rock 102.1 KFMA. We're just learning science stuff today.
Dr. Beef.
Yeah, with Herb Stratford. I'll break it down. That's not the only science news that we have. In fact, actually, in Terminator news. All right, yeah. Boston Dynamics promised to never weaponize those scary robot dogs they make. Do you remember seeing these videos?
Yes.
Oh, they're
Black
terrifying.
Mirror all day. Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes. Okay. So, but Boston Dynamics, they knew about people's concern about this. Like, wait a second, I don't want robot dogs chasing me down the street and gunning me down.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like, hey, we promise we will never weaponize these son of a bitches. We barely even train them. Like what? But meanwhile, China did exactly that. They just weaponized a way to weaponize robot dogs, and they also came up with a way to drop them from drones.
Yeah.
Yes. So be afraid, be very afraid. And that's kind of our good news, bad news today of our science. But yeah, check out the headline here on the podcast broadcast. Here's the source. This is legit. China pairs armed robot dogs with drones that could drop them anywhere. And this is according to the War Zone on the drive.com. So these are the weaponized robot dogs. This is the future that we're living in. And this isn't science fiction. This is, I just crap myself reality. Yeah.
I hate these faceless things. They're monstrous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're so terrifying.
Yeah. Well, sometimes truth is stranger and scarier than fiction. And in this case, that's the case for sure. All right, there's more stuff that I want to get to, like this. People have been swatting a guy since 2018, and it's all because he said that Norm Macdonald wasn't funny.
What's swatting?
When you call you call in a fake SWAT, you say, "Oh, like this guy's got a gun to his wife's head, and send the SWAT team." And they send the SWAT team to your house, and you're like sleeping, and you're like, "I didn't."
Okay,
yeah. And they did this 6 times, all because he said Norm Macdonald wasn't funny. Of course, Norm Macdonald passed away almost like a year ago, but
he was funny.
He was hilarious. Well, he was a
Funny as
comedic genius. A lot of people know that he's a comedic genius. In fact, actually, Norm responded to this via Cameo before he passed away. Now, he didn't even know he was responding to this, and inadvertently kind of encourages people to keep on swatting.
Oh my
dude.
God.
Yeah, the dude's name is Patrick. Here's a Cameo video that Norm Macdonald did. Check out what Norm said. You could tell he didn't know what swatting was, but essentially his friends who have been swatting him, people who have been swatting him, who are not his friends, took this as essentially a message from the Lord saying, okay, I keep on swatting. All right, check out Norm Macdonald.
Hey, this is Norm Macdonald here, and this is a message for all of Patrick's friends. I want you to stop picking on your friend Pat. After all, and I quote, his only crime was that he didn't find Norm Macdonald funny. Wait a minute here. I'm Norm Macdonald. And I am funny. Please continue insulting that fat loser.
So that was Norm, and
that's just called dirty work. Right there. That's all that is.
That is the dirty work, and that's it. And because of that, Patrick's been swatted 6 times, and it keeps on happening. And I'll show pictures of that on the podcast broadcast as well. We're gonna take a quick break. Be back with our beef tip right after this. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. There.
That's funny.
It is, right?
Hey, wait a minute.
Hold on.
He's so
classic Norm. All right, and here is a photo. This is Patrick, and again, he went to Twitter, said Norm Macdonald isn't funny, and in the days since this house has been swatted by 2 fucking days.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, insane, right?
Isn't that a crime?
Yes,
it is.
So
it's a false report.
So what's the punishment?
Well, if they catch him, it's a felony.
Yeah, it's serious. Like, so Marjorie Taylor Greene, not a fan.
Right.
She was swatted twice, I think, in the last in a period of a month. And so it's serious because they waste police resources. Somebody can get killed. I mean, yeah.
But like, what's the penalty? Because again, it's a prank phone call, so they trace the call to get caught.
Here's the problem with this.
Do it?
It's a felony. It's a felony that you'll get a massive fine and jail time. And there have been people who've been hurt and killed in swatting instances because the SWAT team comes in thinking it's a life or death situation, and they got their finger on the trigger. And accidents fucking happen. And, so people have actually been hurt and killed in this situation. Now that swatting is a known thing, maybe they're going into these situations a little more cautiously, but not that much.
I have a solution.
Dangerous.
It's a beef vegan solution for sure. It's on brand.
Okay.
Twatting. You just get a bunch of Karens, send them to somebody's house. Same thing.
I like it. I like it because of the name, first and foremost. Secondly, did you hear that name? It's fucking amazing. Twatting all day long. So totally on brand. Let's see. We got a couple minutes, Herb. Let's do another little review here. We talked about Amsterdam. That's a bust. Nothing Compares to You is going to be interesting if you like the music docs, which I do, and I'm going to watch that. Mr. Harrington's Phone. That's going to be a fun watch. It's on Netflix. Something that you hated was Bromates.
Bromates is just awful. I don't want to say anything other than Lil Rel Howery, who normally is funny, right? And Josh Brenner, who was on Silicon Valley, is one of the nerd guys.
Yes.
You're like, oh, this is funny. These two guys move in together. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's awful. Just don't watch it. Okay. So, but what you should watch is Hellraiser, which is on Hulu. I know Hulu is, Hulu. But this is the reboot of Hellraiser, which is interesting because it's got a female Pinhead.
Yeah, she looks sick.
Do you see her topless?
No.
I'm out.
It is.
You want to see those set of bits?
I want to see all those pins come out of her boobs, man. And then you go to grab them and you like prick your hand every time. Right. It's a terrifying movie and concept. You're like, I just want to feel these boobs. Ow! I want to feel these boobs. Ow!
How does she get so many victims? Well, they just keep approaching her for some reason. They don't run away.
It's so terrifying.
All like this.
She is, and I will just say, it's gory. Yeah. And it is bloody, and it is on brand. And it's very well done. I got to tell you, I had to watch a little palate cleanser afterwards. I'm like, I'm not going to bed now.
You were that scared, huh?
I was scared. I was just like,
it's okay. I don't think you're a pussy if you say you're scared.
No, it was just there was definitely some graphic stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and that just sort of lives in your subconscious, and it's going to seep out later. So it's very well done. And there was a lot of teeth gnashing about this. Oh, female Pinhead, we can't do this. I can't believe you're recasting Pinhead. It's like, oh, just come on. You know, in a way, she's more scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're into Hellraiser, it's worth your time. Check it out.
That's a great reboot. Anthony's asking no Weirdo this week. No, Weirdo's off this week. She'll be back next week, probably. And don't worry, Weirdo's still a part of the roster. No Cat this week either, but she'll be back as well. Just busy times. But yeah, I'm stoked about this Hellraiser. Just too bad I won't be able to find it on my Hulu. All right. Robbie said, yo, beef from Salt Lake, Utah. And then he wrote slut. Is that slut? But it's also Salt Lake, Utah, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah. Thank you for checking out the stream, Robbie. All right. So there's one more on here. Speaking of which, is Interview with a Vampire. But it's an AMC series, so it's not the classic movie with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, no, they decided to reboot this. So, we'll see how it goes. I haven't had a chance to watch it. It's on AMC, and basically it's the same thing. It's a story of the vampire, but they just sort of twist it up a little bit, and they're, bouncing back and forth between, the vampire telling his story of how he became the vampire and, in New Orleans and all that kind of stuff. So, there's a lot of Anne Rice action right now. Anne Rice is the writer of Interview with the Vampire. So there's another series that she's involved with. So again, vampires, they never go out of style.
Yeah,
no, they don't.
True.
It continues.
Marvel's introducing vampires. That's their next big thing.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, Morbius was a fucking flop, though. That's on Netflix right now. Nobody even wants to see it. It's not even trending in the top 10.
But remember, that's the bastard Sony.
Yeah.
We have Blade in the Marvel universe.
And I cannot wait for the new Blade.
Yeah.
You think it'll be that sick?
I just love the old Blades. Even the third one.
I love the old Blade. Remember, Two-Tooth Blade. I love Blade.
Yeah, all right. Well, if we're geeking out on Marvel, did you guys watch the latest episode of She-Hulk and the introduction to Daredevil?
Not yet.
Daredevil's in.
Busy.
Daredevil. Yes, you were. So yeah, Daredevil is fully featured in She-Hulk. It's really cool to kind of see, and apparently he answers some questions that internet nerds were asking about the backstory of Daredevil as well. I'm half remembering the piece that I came across this morning, but I did watch the episode yesterday. It was super entertaining, and it's pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see where the series goes. But I mean, I watched every episode.
So did I. It'd be interesting to see where the series goes. It's aimless. I'm not a big fan of She-Hulk, as we've continued since. My sister even texted me yesterday. She's like, so what do you think of this show? And I'm like, she's like, yeah, she doesn't like it, which is a bummer. You know, like we're easy to please too. Like,
yeah,
I'm
you
an
are.
easy pleaser.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Who cares? It's not like it's horrible, but is it great? Yeah, you know, it's just a little meh.
Well, what's the next big Marvel project that you're looking forward to coming out here soon? Besides Guardians of the Galaxy with the Christmas special that they're going to do, their holiday special. What do you think is going to be the next
Invasion?
One?
Yeah, I think Secret Invasion is probably the highest profile, biggest buzz.
Because even I read it. Like I love that comic, and it really did upend the Marvel universe. Imagine we're going to find out that some character from the very beginning has been a Skrull.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's going to be quite a. Oh, that changes everything type of thing.
Oh, what would you guess? Wrong guesses only. What about Black Widow?
Yep. Easy.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, she's just a chick that knows karate. What's her superpower?
And then it'd be a way to get her back.
It'd be a way to get her back, and that's how you do it.
Do we want her back though? I mean, Scarlett Johansson had a good run. She's approaching her 40s, motherhood, stuff like that, and you know.
Yeah,
she almost looks like a widow.
But I will also say the Wakanda Forever trailer that dropped.
Yeah,
it sort of got me hooked.
Okay,
I'm looking at it. I'm like, hey, Prince Namor. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually
Namor does look pretty badass.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
And that's November. So that's coming up.
Yeah. And I do like they planted the seeds for that back in Avengers, you know, talking about the underground, earthquakes and Atlantis and all that. I'm very excited about that world. So I think, you know, visually speaking, Wakanda Forever should hopefully up the bar even higher, where you're like, oh my God.
It has to, because it has to live up to the hype of what Black Panther was.
Right.
Without Chadwick.
Right.
I'll tell you what, though, I wasn't a big fan of Black Panther.
You don't like it?
No,
really?
I thought it was too cliche, formulaic, but all right, let's get on here. All right, we're almost out of time. I like to remind you guys, Tuesday morning, 7 a.m., I'm going to make a major concert announcement with tickets to give away for said concert. That concert's going to be in Tucson. Don't forget to head to our social media pages to vote on our Fatal 4-Way Friday edition of Build a Band, brought to you by the Volpe team and Nova Home Loans. I'd like to thank Herb Stratford for coming in. But first, let me give you a beef tip. Here's how much exercise it takes to burn one pumpkin spice latte, because we talked about a piece earlier this week saying that they should have exercise tips on the front of what you eat and tell you what you got to do to burn that off. If you drink a pumpkin spice latte, you have to go on a 1.6 mile jog. If you drink a large one from Starbucks, a 4.6 mile jog, right?
Wow.
Or 54 minutes of burpees, right? So,
geez.
Yeah, my beef tip to you is if you're a guy, don't drink those. But keep on, ladies. Those lattes make that body thick. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Robin Nash is up next. Speaking of thick bodies, what's up, girl? Enjoy your 3-day weekend. Drive safe, ride safe. And as always, rock local. Robin's going to kill me for that joke.
Yeah, I bet.
When you wish upon a side of beef,
thank you guys for watching.
Will come an end to all your grief. But if you've been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.